All right, coaches. Good afternoon. Thank you guys for tuning in, taking some time out of your what I believe to be a very busy schedule. We're here with Coach Stu Holt from the University of Louisville. Before we do get started here, we're going to go through a couple words from our partners here at Glacier. So bear with us. Starting with Rack Performance. Rack Performance is not only our title sponsor, but they are the preferred weight room management software of more than 1,200 strength coaches across the country. Their solutions will streamline your data management, enhance your workout delivery, and tell your athletes exactly what you want them to do every second of your workout. This week, they're offering relief in the midst of schools being closed with a free program manager that will allow you to deliver your workouts to your athletes remotely on their phones and track their completion. To make sure you don't miss a beat during school cancellations, visit rackperformance.com to get set up today. Our next partner is Edge Varsity. Edge Varsity is the only advanced analytics tool for high schools. Originally built for NFL teams, Edge Varsity offers coaching customizations, play call simulator, fourth down forecast, post-game reports, and game books. 1-year subscriptions are currently 50% through May 1st, costing you only $750 for an entire year. Visit edgevarsity.com for that. And then lastly, Glacier Clinics has partnered with the free communication app Band this season to offer you a better way to communicate with your teams. Replace those long email threads, after-hour phone calls, and texts, all with one group post. Plus, you can earn up to $1,000 in grant money this season. Download the Band app and join the Glacier Online Super Clinic 2020 Band today to learn more. Finally, before I introduce Coach, I want to run through a couple just housekeeping items with Zoom. I'm sure you guys have been using it more regularly now, but if you guys are needing any support as far as technical difficulties, you're going to use the chat option. And you'll find that if you're viewing this on a desktop or your laptop, you'll see that just on that lower bar there. So chat is for technical difficulties, shout outs, anything like that. And then Q&A is actually what we're going to use to send questions to Coach Holt. So he is open to answering those throughout the session. So feel free to send those at any point. We'll also leave, a couple minutes at the end for any unanswered questions, and he'll provide his email at the end just for any lingering ones. But you're going to use the Q&A option for questions. So don't put those in the chat. They might get lost. Go ahead and use that Q&A option. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Coach Stu Holt. He's going to be speaking on the tight end, run fundamentals, and route techniques for big bodies. He's a special teams coordinator and tight ends coach at Louisville. So without further ado, Coach, I know you're still muted there. So, Yep,
we got you.
Yeah, you're good to go, Coach. Appreciate you being on.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Josh. Yeah, appreciate you guys having us on. Guys, I appreciate, you attending this and hanging out with me today. I'm going to hit some fundamental play stuff that we do at Louisville and things that we did at Appalachian State prior to here, and then a couple places before then. But been coaching tight ends for a while, and enjoy coaching the position. Really involved in the run game and passing game, which I certainly enjoy. For you high school guys out there that may be in my area, I do recruit the great state of Kentucky, west of I-65. And then I also am in Central Florida over on the East Coast, Central Florida over to the East Coast. And then if you got a tight end anywhere in the country, man, I'd love to see them. I'll provide my email at the end of this and be glad to assist any way that I can. But I'm going to get started here. Basically, what I thought I'd do is hit some run game fundamentals, some technique stuff that we do. Start with some mentality things that, kind of how we set the tone with our guys and what we're going to ask them to do. And like Josh said, any questions along the way, just shoot them into that chat deal, and I'll be glad to answer them as we go as best I can. Once we hit the run game stuff, then I've got some clips from practice, some individual stuff, and then we'll come back to some passing game techniques, and then I've got a little bit of there with the passing game film wise. Okay, so we'll get rolling here. The first thing that we present, or I present to our guys, is a mentality they need to have to play tight end. Committed and dedicated to one another. It's big with us. Creating the strong bond with the team and becoming the best offense in the conference. Got to be an everyday player. That's something that I think, as the years go, getting that across to our players becomes more and more difficult, and that practice is important, and being able to play through pain and attack injury and knowing the difference between pain and injury. You certainly never want to put an injured player on the field, but there is going to be pain in this game, and being able to recognize that and understand how we need to play through that. It's important that you study the game, that our players study the game and understand situations that we're going to ask them to perform within the game. Possess great knowledge of your position and its demands. There's a whole lot that goes into playing the tight end position. You got to know the run game, the pass game. You have to know the entire concepts of what we're trying to do. Most of the time, your tight ends are going to have to be guys that are pretty headsy players and guys that understand, the nuances of offense. And so getting that across to our guys is certainly paramount. Must be respected by your teammates and coaches, and I put in parentheses their leadership. We won't always talk about our guys leading the offense, leading our team, earning your voice on the field. I tell guys, and Coach Satterfield, tells us all the time, Coach Scott Satterfield is our head coach, is the best guy in America, man. He's an outstanding football coach, outstanding person, and really, really strong offensive football coach on game day. And we talk about that you got to understand what the game demands of you, and for us to be successful. We emphasize, as Coach Satterfield emphasizes, attitude and effort is a big deal for us. We were able this past season to take a team that had won 2 games into an 8-win season and a bowl game victory, and really those kids really bought into doing it the way we asked them to do it, and their attitude and effort is where it all started. And so a lot of credit, all the credit to those guys for buying in quickly and letting their attitude become a skill. That's something that we talk about a lot, things that don't take talent to help you win. And so we certainly stress that from day one. 10 principles of playing tight end. Really, I broke them down into these 10 things, and then kind of 4, 4, and 2. But your stance, your alignment, your assignment, your aiming point, those are all fall under your football IQ. Being a smart player, understanding situations, play gets called, I get to the line of scrimmage, I'm diagnosing what's happening, I know what kind of stance I need to be in, I know where I'm aligned, I know my assignment, I know the aiming point of the play, how does it affect me and my front side and my back side. Little coaching points there, covered or uncovered tackle, when you're playing even fronts, how to identify that quickly. Is a center covered? Is he not covered? We're playing odd fronts. In-man line of scrimmage, that guy's right over the top of us for attached. What is he playing? What's his technique look like? What's his stance look like? Alignment of the near D lineman or linebacker. Is it base or is it pressure? Alignment of the near linebacker DB in the passing game. Are we getting zoned? Is it like we're going to get zoned or we're going to get man free? We're getting cover zero. Those type things, all those things happening with your, pre-snap and, your football IQ is what we're trying to build day in and day out within the program. The next four really have to go when the play starts. Our start, our footwork, our run or our pass plan, and then our ball security. DGA there, I took from a guy I worked with a few years ago. That stands for dreams, goals, and aspirations. And we talk about our ball security. You hold the dreams, goals, aspirations of everybody in the program, everybody in the building. Nothing more important. But knowing the snap count, what's my first step, keep the ball high and tight. Those are all, little coaching points as we go. And then lastly, our effort. How many times are we knocking a guy down? How many, we got to finish through the whistle. 6, that 6:3 really came from the same guy. We're going to play, basically the average football plays 6 seconds. We want 3 great efforts within that 6 seconds. Play fast, play physical, impose our will. That's the goal of playing offense, as we all know. Run game fundamentals, and we're talking about, just basic stuff as far as run blocks, our start, our initial read, and our aiming point. And obviously it depends on, what technique is in front of us. Taking the correct steps depending on the play and the defensive technique. Contact, hand placement. I can't tell you how many times, just like you, I'm coaching hand placement. Strike, I think that you guys know, guys either inherently like contact or they shy away from contact. But a lot of times you can take a guy that doesn't mind contact, but just doesn't really know how to do it, doesn't know how to do it in order to be successful, right? So hand placement and strike. Sustainability, maintain the block after initial contact. Pad level. Back to hand placement again, and then maintaining that base, keeping our feet hot. We always talk about that we've got to block with our feet. It's hand placement, it's pad level, but really the way to sustain your block is to continue running your feet and staying in good position. We don't want to position block. We want to move guys. That's a big coaching point as well with our guys, is we want to move them off the line of scrimmage. Like our offense coordinator, Coach Ledford, talks about denting the defense. We want to get movement at the point of attack if that's where we are, and get those guys want to play on their side of the line of scrimmage. Finish. It's a big thing with us. It goes back to the attitude and effort, playing through the whistle, having that mentality. I'm going to get a knockdown every play, just extreme effort all the way through the whistle. So if you get into kind of some base steps for us, and here's where I'm going to kind of combine, we're a big zone team at Louisville. That's what we run inside, outside zone. That's no secret, really, if anybody that pays any attention to us. But I've been in gap schemes before. I've been in schemes where we ran strictly power was our play. I worked for Willie Taggart at one time, and he used to say, he's like, hey, if we're you ask the lady in the grocery store, what play do we run? And she better be able to tell us power, because she lives in the area and she knows what we do. And so that we hung our hat on that for a long time. The tight end was heavily involved in what we're doing there. So, and really the drive block, we're going to start that with our opposite foot. So if we're making contact with our right shoulder, we're going to go left foot first, and then our second step. That first step is going to be a lead step with our left foot, about 6 inches forward, gaining ground. Second step is when we're making contact with that right shoulder, right hand, and then really converting from our shoulders to our hands. And that, that's the block where we're driving a guy off the ball. We've got a 6 technique right in front of us, and we're driving that guy off the football. We're going to use that quite a bit. Now, in our zone scheme, I'd probably liken it most to the inside zone. but it's a little bit different with the inside zone because we're more of a lateral lead step when we're talking about zone play. So it's a little bit different. But that drive block, when we're running, we used to run ice and power and coming off the football and in the gap stuff is when we really got into a whole bunch of drive blocks. Our fan block is a fire step. It starts with our play side foot. Okay, now we're trying – this is more of a gap scheme deal as well. And this is where, you might have that 9 technique where we're trying to move that guy off the line of scrimmage and widen him at the same time. That kind of 45-degree angle we're trying to get. We want to expand the hole for the running back. We also want to get some movement down the field, with moving those defenders back into that second level, delivering those D linemen to the second level. So now 45-degree step, we're coming off the ball, aiming points the V of the neck, different from the drive step where we were going right down the middle of the guy. Now we're going V of the neck, and we're taking him off the football and winding him out at the same time. So again, those two blocks there, the drive and the fan, are more what we used when we were in the gap scheme, more living in that world. Then you get into more of your zone stuff down at the bottom here when you talk about our reach block, whether we're going to bucket, if we're going to bucket, or we may have to pop inside on the inside zone. But really what it comes down to is very simple, is if my assignment, the guy that I'm working, D-line, first level to second level, if he's inside my framework, then I got a 6-inch lead step. If he's outside my framework, then I've got a bucket step. But we caution, we always caution our guy with how much depth we're getting. We want to try to, that depth is really, we answer with depth, but we don't want to give ground, or we're trying really hard not to give ground if the guy's outside of my framework. The landmarks are very important. So our footwork, so I'm kind of getting ahead a little bit on the outside because we do like to run a lot of outside zone. If we go back to the inside, if the guy's inside my framework, that 6-inch lead step is more of a lateral lead. So we're kind of flat there. All right. Second step is kind of right through the middle. Okay. Right through the middle of his sternum. And then we're going to take that defender vertical, and we're getting vertical movement there. And a lot of times, you're coming together with a tackle, hip to hip, working a double team, or at least getting hip to hip to work exchanges. Because a lot of people try to gap exchange versus the zone. And so therefore, your 6-inch lead step, staying square, pad level, all right, and then working the guy vertical. On the outside reach step, and again, caution you with I do say bucket, but I whenever I see the guy really stepping back, I used to teach a big, give a whole lot of ground, put your foot in the bucket and run. We don't want to give as much. We want to give as little ground as possible, and then we're trying to get our hat to the armpit of the defender, and we want to reach that guy and drag his butt out. If we can get him reached, great. If not, we want to stay into him and drag him out. Okay, so those are the footwork fundamentals of what we do in. If I were in a gap scheme, which we're not so much now, and obviously we're in a bunch of zone here at Louisville. Okay, I'm just going to keep moving, and if there is a question, just stop me, Josh. But I'm just going to keep it moving. Let's pause right there. I'm going to unshare the screen, and I'll show you some individual drills that we work. If I can get my video going here.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You should have some video there of two guys there working on towels. You guys, is that on there, Josh?
Yep, we see that.
Okay. All right. So, just like probably everybody on this chat right here on this clinic, we'd love to get a ton of individual time, and we don't get as much as we'd like, but we get enough to get it done. We work our footwork every day. And what you've got here is you've got I think I can draw on this, but so we'll play with guys that are on the ball and play with guys that are off the ball. So typically what I'll do is I'll put the off the ball guys on one side. So it'd be these guys over here. And then over here is be the guys that put their hand in the dirt. These guys will be in a stance here. We use these towels. So, a lot of times, offensive linemen use the boards. It's the same principle, but we're really using the towels. So, we're not turning an ankle. And I don't know that it's always so realistic when those boards are so wide, so we kind of like this a little bit better. We'll take, I've got some, I think these are, a couple long snappers here that are available during practice. They're going to hold the bags for us. But we're going to work here our 6-inch lateral lead. And I don't know if the film kind of cuts off a little bit here, but we'll start off and go 1-1-1-1-1. We'll give our first step. Now, I'll tell you that we're going in a hurry. And so when we go back and look at this in our individual meetings, a lot of times we'll watch individual. And I try to break them a habits of just kind of, and it's really just because they're trying to go fast, but just kind of raising their pad level and just hopping over and coming right back. Like 83 right here. It's not perfect right there, right? He's coming up and then he's getting his pad level high, and he's just trying to kind of do the drill and get back, right? So, but really what we're looking for is to come off the ball, that 6-inch lateral step here. Second step, I don't like that his right foot right there. He's got a little bit of a false step, which we want to put our weight on the balls of our feet right there, all right, and not have any kind of false step. But then we're going to shoot our hands inside the breastplate, and we're going to fight like heck to get this guy going vertical, okay? We want to get him going vertical. You look over here at 44. I like 44's initial step. I like his second step. It's not bad. It's a little tight to the towel, but I like his hand placement. That's not bad at all. It's a pretty good job by him and a good pad level. And again, it's the same deal. We got the H's over here to the right as we look at it. We got the Y's over there to the left. And you can I'll show you the difference here. One thing is you look at when you're trying to develop players, none of these 5 guys, or actually this guy right here is the only guy, 44 is the only guy that played tight end in high school. These 2 guys were linebackers right here. This guy right here was a big receiver, and this guy right here was a tailback. And so, when we got to Louisville, we only had 1 tight end in the program. And so all these guys are kind of learning this deal as we go. But I'll tell you, as you're looking at developing guys, like this kid right here played a lot of football for us and played a lot of snaps, and he's a pretty headsy player. This guy right here, man, he's trying to figure it out. He ain't never been a 3-point stance till he got to us. So you kind of look at, as we're watching this, who's more natural at it and who's not. And obviously you see the Y over there with his hand in the ground. He's just a little bit robotic, a little bit kind of figuring it out, where the other kid's like, hey, man, let's go. He's quick, and let's go. And you see him come off the ball. Now, 84 over there, the guy with his hand in the ground, he's going to be a good player. It's just going to take him a bunch of reps, and he's going to get it. But that's pretty good right there, coming off a flat back. Pad level's not bad. I'd like to see 83 be a little bit lower. One thing I talked to is particularly like the tall guys. When I had a guy at Western Kentucky, Jack Doyle, who plays for the Colts now, he's 6'6". And when the scouts would come and watch Jack, they were always surprised at how tall he was because he played so low on film. And it's kind of the same thing, whether it's high school or college. If there's college guys coming to evaluate the tight end, your tight ends or linemen or whoever, or pro guys come to evaluate college guys. If those guys can be surprised by how tall they are, it's a heck of a compliment, man, because they're playing with great pad level. And I always share that with our guys to try to motivate them to, man, let's see how low we can play. 45 is a true freshman. He was an early enrollee. He played linebacker, so he's really trying to figure it out. His hands are really wide here. Only get his left hand inside. You see he's bent his elbows out rather than tight to him. There's 84 again. 84 is getting better. That first step's not bad. His stance needs to probably get a little bit better. Here's 44. I like 44. He's probably going a little – his step coming off is a little more lateral, which is good. 41, throw your hat. Throw your hat inside and be real heavy with that right hand because that's where we're going. All right, so now we're going to work some outside zones. So we do this every day. So inside zone, outside zones. Here's outside zone. Now we're going to angle our towels just like you've seen guys, offensive line coaches do boards all the time. So 83 right here. 83's got the right idea. We're going to go fire step. What I like going off the sideline is you can tell if he's gaining ground or not. Okay, I want to see him gain ground this way, not go flat. All right, he's flat right now. He needs to gain ground, not just open, and he's off the towel. Now, what I do like is he's coming off the ball and trying to play on their side. I'd love to see him throw his hat to his armpit, but I do like he's trying to work him up the field. 84 over here has got a similar step. He's a little bit more down the field, but not much. And then I don't like his second step at all. He's stepping over the top of himself. You know, as we all know, you got to get a base, right? We got to maintain a base. So he's got no base. And then whenever you get those feet together like that, you're going to go down. You're not going to stay up on your feet. And then at the end, he's trying to torque him out, but he's giving up on it way too early. Way too early. You want to be working that reach as long as you can. When we come out of this thing, we want to pump our arms like we're running a sprint, like we're going down the field, because we want to get the idea, man, we're going to sprint off the ball. I still don't like 83 steps so much. It's a bucket step. He's losing ground. But I do like his quickness, and I like that he's really trying to get after it, and he ends up in pretty good position. 44 over here, the Y, I like that he's and I think a lot of times, and you guys have experienced this, I think they think they're gaining ground because they point their toe. But, you know, we do watch a lot of Indy, man, to just kind of show them, and it's not really what you think it is. It's not really happening the way you think it is. So here we go. Now we'll switch it, and we're going to go left. I like 84 here, throwing his hat better. I still don't like that second step's awful. He's not maintaining a base. He's way off the towel. Way off the towel. And the same here with 41. They get so preoccupied with getting their landmark, they forget about their base. And that's why we do this every day. We work it every single day. Because we're a big zone team, we work a lot of the Crowder sled, which I'm sure a lot of you guys have done. We do a couple drills here to unlock their hips, to get them used to really throwing their hips. One 6-point explosion, which is an old D-line drill. But what we're trying to do is just get them to throw their hips into the ground and punch this thing. And really what we're looking for really is to get that idea of throwing those hips in the ground and getting comfortable with that, okay? And we're going to expand on that in a second. So we're going to come back. This group's better than the first group. The hand placement, we're going to be just under the number there in the middle of the pad. And we want them to land on their chest, throwing their hips all the way out. That group's pretty good. That second group's better than the first group. This group, all right, so we cut this off. All right, so now we're going to come up and we're going to work some hip explosion. All right, and we're building up to being able to drive this thing, okay? But we're going to work some hip explosion, and it's the same thing. Now, we're going to over-exaggerate this. This is not realistic. It's not reality. But what we're trying to do is, again, get them to feel throwing their hips from a standing position, from a good football position, throwing your hips into the play. Because when you drive this thing, and you guys that use them know, if you don't use your core and you're not heavy on your inside, you can't drive it. So look at 84 right there. He's a former running back. So look at that. That's about it. He looks like he's riding a mechanical bull. All right, but he, again, way exaggerated. But we tell him to do that because I want him to get those hips, really throw those hips into the pad. So now here's what we're building up to. We want to drive this thing, and the way this thing is set, if you don't work square and you're not thick on the pad and you don't have good pad level and you don't have a strong core, you will not drive it. You won't. It'll spin on you. You'll fall off of it. This sled makes you control your core through the block. And so look, here's an example right here. Watch 84. All right. See how he turns his body and gets real thin on the pad, and now it starts to almost spin on him. Now, where he is improving and what he's doing a nice job of is he is going to regain this. All right. And when he regains it, Now he gets it going straight. So he's much, much improved. All right. Let's see here. Here's 84, hand in the ground. That's the same guy we watched earlier. You see he's already improved on his next rep. All right, so here's our linebackers. Never played the position. No false step. I like that. That's pretty good, man, for a guy that was just going to be he should be going to the prom this spring. All right, so that's just some run game fundamentals. Again, we don't get a whole ton of time in individual. All right, so that just allows us to kind of get going and get ready for our team sections. All right, now we'll come back. We'll go back to some passing game fundamentals. While I'm switching this over, do we have any questions? Anything anybody wants to ask?
I do see something in the chat, Coach. I have a 6'6", 240 linebacker. 240-pound tight end that has challenges on getting lower in the blocking scheme. Are there one or two drills you do to get taller guys lower pad level?
Yeah, I think a lot of that really goes back to the weight room and squatting. I know one thing we've worked with a lot of stiffer guys, bigger guys, is front squats. Doesn't have to be a ton of weight. Doesn't have to be, you don't have to move mountains, but just enough weight to where you're gaining strength, but really just as much hip flexibility as you can possibly get. We also do a lot of stuff over hurdles, kind of, like the plyo stuff where you're kind of going, laterally up and over and then underneath hurdles, 5 or 6 on in a line. But you really, in my opinion, to get these big guys to play lower, they've got to develop some hip flexibility. A lot of times they're really tight. Like 45 right there, the young kid, that's his biggest challenge, honestly, is just getting in position to where he can he can sink his hip and get into a good football position. That's going to be his biggest challenge.
Good stuff, Coach.
All right. Okay, let me share this screen here. No, wrong one. Bear with me, guys. I'm not the most technical savvy guy. All right, share screen. All right, so now back to the PowerPoint, and we're going to kind of get into a little bit of those things that just got brought up as far as tall guys. In the passing game, can you guys see, Josh, is that big enough?
Yeah, I mean, I can see it pretty fine. Especially full screen, you can read it. So
okay, all right. Yeah. In the passing game, okay, so what we're trying to teach is, we're going to start and we're talking about how critical our breaking points are. All right, so breaking points are critical to creating separation. Separation is going to get you the ball. That's something we sell to our guys all the time, man. It's like, you hear it all, well, they don't throw the tight end, don't throw the tight end. Well, how many times are you open? How hard are you working in the passing game? Are you you're making it easy on the quarterback? The better your pad level is, the better your breaking points are, is a better chance you're going to get the football. You can separate and get the ball. Okay. How do we do that? Well, we got to sink our hips. We got to sink our hips when we're running routes. We got to pound our body down when if we're sitting versus zone. We got to pound our body into the ground, pump our arms, okay? And then you see right there, all caps in red, sail vertical. If there's not anything that'll help a guy in underneath coverage, in my opinion, I mean, if I had to pick one thing, if you sell to those safeties and those linebackers that you are running vertical and you're going to stop somewhere underneath, then you're going to have a great chance to get the football. Because you're going to get them on their heels. Nobody wants to give up the deep ball. You're going to get them on their heel. Even the slowest guy, I mean, even the guys that can't run out of their shadow, if they sell vertical, you're going to get them on their heels. I promise you. So, how do you do that? You get your pads over your toes. You drive. You're just driving down the field, make them feel like that you're going to blow past them. Learn the tendencies of linebackers and DBs through film study. Can I get a free release? When is the guy physical? When's the guy underneath? When's he going to be physical with me? Is it going to be before the catch, during the catch, after the catch? All three? None of the three? Know who you're going against and have an idea of what's coming your way. Catch that football, tuck it away, and make sure that you're ready for that guy to be physical with you. They're playing inside or outside leverage. Where am I going to attack them? And it's just funny, man, with this video game world. You guys see it all the time. These kids don't understand football. They don't understand. They think they can go out there and whatever they do on Madden, they can do in real life, and they don't understand that guy's got outside leverage. I got to attack his leverage and create some separation and go the other way. Stick my foot where I'm not going. Make him, they just think they just run out there and just run around. They're going to be open. Always run your patterns as if you're the number one receiver. Man, this is a tough sell for tight ends. You got to run them at full speed. All right. Obviously, we all know you can't get the correct time at half speed. The backside corner route is the toughest sell in my experience coaching tight ends because, nub side, backside of so many routes, you're running a backside corner and you'll be wide open. And you don't get it because he's not looking for you. And then you jog it. You ran it 3 times in a row, and you're WAO. And then all of a sudden, that 4th time, you go out there jogging, and what's going to happen? He's going to throw you the ball. He's going to overthrow you, and, everybody's going to yell at you. And so just creating some discipline where you're sprinting all the time. Learn the concept, not just your job. So example like stick concept. Like if simple 3x1 stick, everybody runs. Well, that if the low hold defender, if he widens out with number 2 when he goes to the flat, you're going to get the ball. I'm going to get the ball. So I run 6 yards, break out of it, slightly downhill, expect the football. I'm going to do that anyway. That's how I'm going to run the route. I'm pushing the 6, selling vertical, stick my foot in the ground, come out slightly downhill, expect the ball. But if I know the concept and I know what the quarterback's looking at, then it'll even help that anticipation even become more keener. Keep your eyes on the ball. First responsibility is catch football, look it all the way in. We'll say CTT, catch, tuck, turn, not catch, turn, tuck. That's something we fight all the time. I got a couple examples of that. But catch it, tuck it, turn. Try to drop step. Don't round it off when you're getting vertical. When the ball is thrown, it's ours. Go get it. Never allow reception. If the ball is completed elsewhere, finish the play. Find someone to block. It goes back to the 6-3 rule. Always work back to the ball with urgency, understand the game, don't let guys run underneath you. You're running crossing routes. Don't drift on a crossing route. Don't stand there, on the zone and you feel pressure coming back behind you. Don't stand there and let the guy step in front of you and pick it. All those fundamentals. Body control. Use body control to get open. Never quit on the route. And then no scramble drill. What's going to happen when he starts moving around? Where do I go? How do I get open? Go get a touchdown. We just talk about that, with our guys, they're going to get the ball in big situations. So, make a big time play when it counts.
Hey, Coach, did you see that Rick question?
No.
So Rick's asking, how do you teach your player to avoid contact on crossing routes? For example, mesh and Y cross.
Okay, so if it's drop back, that's a good question. So if it's drop back, then I'm going to try to anticipate what that, like say the inside backer is going to carry me and I'm running a mesh route. Okay. Well, if I know that he's waiting to catch me, all right, then I'm going to lower my pads and put my shoulder pad in it. And this may not be a great way to explain it in this setting, but in my mind, I'm thinking I'm lined up on the right. I'm running mesh. I'm going to my left. So I'm going to take my right shoulder, stick it right in his sternum when he goes to catch me, and I'm going to push him up. All right, push him up for a step, stair step it, and then come flat. Again, trying to create separation. Working hard to stay flat after I get that separation. I really don't teach a lot of using your hands in space. I do as you're kind of coming out of it, but I really like to use our shoulder pads to create separation in space. And then we can throw them by or use our club or whatever. But our initial contact. Well, most everything we do, our initial contact, I want to use shoulder pads because I'm a big body in there, man. I can get some movement, move those guys off of me. Okay, hope that's the right what he's looking for. Is there anything else?
Nope. We're good to go for now. Yep.
All right. Let's see here. All right. Route releases. So we teach a lot of this of how to negotiate, what's playing in front of you and understanding when you've got the advantage and when you got to gain the advantage. So like if I'm running inside route versus 6 or 9 technique, okay, we've got the advantage, all right? Even if it's a head up guy, then I've got the advantage, right? And he's outside, I certainly had the advantage. So I want to come off the ball low and hard, low pads, all right? Shoot my hands to the breastplate. If you use your shoulder pads, that's fine too. We're going to teach a shock and blade in that example, okay? Separate with contact and arm extension, okay? If it's shoulder pads, then extend your arm and get them off of you. And then blade, when we say blade, we're talking about changing our pad level. We're talking about dipping our inside or outside shoulder to give them our back number. If they make contact with us, they're pushing us on our back number, and we're changing our blocking surface. We talk about that all the time. Change your blocking surface. Make it hard where those hands slide off of you, so now they're off balance and they can't catch up. You know where you're going, so use your body position, your body control to allow you to create some separation, okay? So I'm going to blade violently, okay, outside arm clearing the defender, and then I'm going to extend to my route because I've got the leverage, right? Those aren't that difficult. What is difficult? Well, a lot of times we're not running inside routes versus 7 techniques, but it does happen, right? It does happen. So this is part where I think guys don't understand as much these days is that when you come off the ball, we're going to use a stick and club, all right? But the way to stick with your footwork is critical, all right? So right here, again, I'm lined up on the right side of the formation, all right? And I'm going to stick with my outside foot. I'm going to come off low and hard, stick with outside foot. I'm going to invite him to come out with me, okay? And then I'm going to club violently inside, okay? I'm going to club violently inside and bring him another step away. And then blade with my outside, in this case, be my right shoulder. I'm going to blade underneath skinny and lean to get inside of him, okay? And, like I said, we're not in that situation that much, but it does happen from time to time where we want to get underneath that guy. So we got to give him some tools to do that, all right? An outside route versus 6 and 9 technique. It does say 8, doesn't it? Man, I can't believe it's got 8 technique on there. That's awful. 6 or 9 technique. All right, so what we're going to do there, we're going to work stick and club here. Now, this does happen quite often. There's so many routes where we're running to the flat. We're part of that flat control, concept of the route where we do have to stick inside. And again, so we're on the right here, we're sticking left. We got low pads, really violent club with our right arm. Let's move him another step, and then we're going to blade hard with our inside shoulder and get to the flat. This happens quite a bit, okay? But again, we got to get this guy moving, and a lot of times what a lot of kids want to do is they want to go up there and stick their hand in the ground. All right, coach says I'm running a flat route. I've seen the drawing. It's one thing that I think is a really good coaching point. When you're showing all these plays and you're showing where these guys run, I'm telling you, man, most kids are just going to run the lines. So what they're going to do, coach gave me the diagram, that's the line, I got to run the line. They don't think about how am I going to get to that area? And that's where, like in this case, I got to stick hard inside, got to club with my outside hand, violently clear him with my inside shoulder with a blade and get to my route. And how am I going to get there? Most guys will just line up right there and just try to run through the guy, or they might try to blade inside and get skinny, but, it's not going to be as successful. So you got to set them up. It goes back to it's the same coaching point as your breaking point. You're just doing it, your release is at the line of scrimmage, your breaking point is at depth. One thing we sell hard to our guys, who sets the depth? We do. We set our route depth. We don't let any defender determine where we're running a route. We set the depth, all right? And then, so there we got to gain the advantage. The outside route versus 7 technique, skinny blade there, and we've got the advantage. So it gives you that's a pretty easy release. The 6 might be a little bit, a little bit difficult, but the 7 definitely gives you, what you want. I never assume you got a free release. Work a release as many times as you can. A lot of times, if we have a guy available or myself, like we're running 7-on-7, I'll go over and stand in front of our guys with the pads, the pencils, and give them, put hands on them and make them work a release. So we try to do that as much as we can. Let's see, that might be the last one. Yeah. There's my email, guys. If you got questions or want to get in touch with me, there's my email. It's real simple, stu@gocars.com. Really easy. We can throw it up at the end, too. I got a couple things here on film. We didn't really talk about Pass Pro. I'm going to hit on that lightly here. Let me share this screen. Bear with me, guys. Should see some video there. I'm going to hit lightly on some Pass Pro because we do ask our guys to protect, particularly our off-the-ball guys. So this is called Mirror Pro, and even though we gets cut off here, but what we're doing is we're having the defender work a semicircle here, and we're having the tight end put his hands behind his back. It's kind of like the old man-to-man drill like in basketball, right? You're just working. You want to have big chest right here. You want to have low hips. You want to sink. You're trying to step slide. A lot of guys want to hop, and you hopping will get you in trouble because you get both feet off the ground, and then the guy goes where you don't think he's going to, and he runs by you. So 83 is pretty good at it. This kid right here, 44, he's got a little offensive line background, so you kind of see he's got the step slide down. He's good on that. He's good with his pad level. He's probably one of our better guys as far as being able to pass pro, and, he just did a lot of it when he was younger. The rest of these guys are trying to figure it out. Here's my guy that hops all the time. He's gotten a whole lot better, man. He used to hop everywhere, and he'd get himself in position. You see he still kind of moves his feet, both feet at the same time, but he's not bad. I want to maintain inside leverage, stay on the inside number. Here's my guy that just got there. He's trying to figure it out. Here's one. We'll get to him in a second. This is the guy that was the tailback. He's trying to figure it out. He's not bad. He's got a chance. He's a pretty good athlete. So then we go into Fit Pro. So now we're going to start in the fit position, hands inside, 12 o'clock thumbs. It starts with a separation, and then now we're going to set our hands right here in our sternum. Same technique. And when we can smell his breath, we're going to punch. Now, this is what's hard about getting them to understand, because we want them to come off the ball and play so physical and be on the defensive side of the run game. Now the pass game, we want you to sit back and wait. And a lot of guys have problems with that. So you want to sit back. When you smell his breath, you want to punch him. We teach a little bit of step into him as you punch, but, it has to be pretty ideal for that to happen. We just get good contact and a good punch and maintain position. We talk about keeping if we got a camera in our butt, keep the camera on the quarterback. And that gives you a 45-degree angle sitting inside on his inside number. So we talk about that a lot as well. So here's a good example right here. This is what all the guys want to do, right? All the young guys. They want to lunge. So they want to go there and get set. And now, again, we're talking about having a big chest. Everybody, you guys know, you lunge, you're in trouble, it's going to pull you by. So now it's all right, get a big chest. He's better there. He's getting it. See, what he's not used to doing is he ain't used to punching. So he's catching. He's not really delivering a blow, so we got to get him more physical. As much as you can do, group work, this is a deal. We just give them a couple pictures here. This is just a backside of the inside zone here and who we're going to work against. Really, we're going to give several scenarios here. The 4 technique may work inside, so then the Y's got to climb. The 4 technique's working outside, so the Y's got to take it on. 52 is a brand new freshman, just got there. He wants to be thicker on this. He's not. That's the tackle. And then 41 right here, he's just taking the most dangerous off of that Y's butt. So we're just trying to give him a bunch of different looks. And I think that just helps that football IQ stuff we talked about earlier. We should get some route stuff here. It's just a little settle and noose thing a lot of you guys do. We're just going to come down, pound our body, look the ball in. Poor example right here is CTT. We want to catch, tuck, turn. This guy's catch, turn, tuck. See if I can get it to slow down. So now he's got his eyes off the ball here. He wants to look that thing all the way in. Now what he does do, he's got a pretty good drop step and going vertical up the field. That's good. This is a young guy that just got there. Now what he does a nice job. He looks the ball in. I'd like for him to tuck it right now closer to his body, not have all this air between his body and his and the football right there. Try to eliminate that. But he's got a better idea as far as looking all the way in. As many times we get to the quarterbacks, we get about 5 minutes a day with the quarterbacks. We run just routes for ourselves. This is a good example of like stick concept versus zone. He knows right now that guy's widening, so we're going to be able to sit down. What I don't like about 83 right here is he's not selling anything. Like he's telling me if I'm the inside backer, if I'm a inside backer right here looking to carry him, I'm all over his butt. I'm all over him because right now what he's showing is I can see both his numbers. He's got big shoulders. He's leaning. Man, this is not very good at all. I should be able to break up this route if he gets this ball. So, I just don't like that he's not selling vertical there. Again, when this guy right here, this is man. So we'd like for him to break on this. And this is where you really, like in the meeting room, you're telling them, hey, man, you're going to break or whatever. I put this one on here because this is a young guy, doesn't understand, right? So you draw it up in the meeting room. Well, he didn't get it, obviously. So, try to get a walkthrough in, try to keep reiterating what you're looking for out of this, and get him to understand. I like running these flat routes here to the boundary just to give him a sense of space to where we got to look the ball in and turn it up. And then if he can get over there and contest the catch at the end, you see how our quality control guy here is over here. That was a GA, I'm sorry. Our GA over here is contesting that catch. So we like doing that. Timing routes are good. Like this is a little play action, deep shot. We're giving him an idea of where he needs to cross the hash here. All right, and again, our GA right here is showing the receiver coming off the other side, and we're telling him to run to his heels and keep it high. Initially, I like to give these versus air. No, don't contest them at all. And then once we run this a couple times, give me inside backer right here to put hands on him, kind of like Coach was asking earlier. Now he's got to negotiate that and let's get to his landmark. I think all that stuff's good. You can do that as many times as you can. So, guys, that's just some simple fundamental stuff that I think, obviously the stuff we work, a lot of it we work daily. Because we do believe that, the fundamentals and being able to do it over and over and over, playing with pad level, doing, the little things right, are going to pay off more so than trying to out scheme everybody. So, I know there's a lot of fundamental stuff, but, there's a lot of stuff that we believe in.
Good stuff, Coach. Hey, we do have Jay here asking if you could draw up your favorite bootleg play action with the tight end.
No, man, no scheme, man. You can hit me up on email, and I'll see what I can do for you, but we're going to keep it to the fundamentals.
Yep. All right. Coaches, if you guys have any last-minute questions here, feel free to send those in. But if not, Coach, if you want to just throw up that last slide, that way they can just write down your email one more time. You on social media?
Man, thinking about, like, that last question about the bootleg. I tell you, the Rams and the 49ers, I'm telling you, the 49ers are doing some pretty cool stuff with the tight end, with the bootleg game. Guys are attached or unattached. Pretty cool stuff. If you get a chance to get access to some of that. Let's see here. Is that it? You got it there?
Yes, sir. We see it.
All right, cool.
I think he's following up. How do you teach patience on the bootleg when the tight end is running the flat route?
We give him a count. We give him a second count. So, if you want to go 14 yards, if you want to go 12 yards, you tell him 14. If you want him to stand there for, 2 seconds, then you might tell him 4. knowing that it goes fast and you got to get them to at least get to where you want. So we do a little bit of that. We give them a count as to how long we want to stay in, and we also tell them how we want to sell it. Based on game plan and based on what the front we're seeing. Might tell us how much we want to sell backside cutoff or how much we want to try to collect outside backers. If we got a good idea where reduction's coming from, then that certainly goes into game plan as far as, if we're going to collect a guy, if we're not, that type of stuff. And that in turn, I should elaborate on that. That in turn will keep a guy in longer if that's what you're trying to get to. The other way too, I've done in the past is making sure they understand how much they got to protect the quarterback, and show them a lot of those examples. Hey man, you get out early right here, you're putting this guy right in his face, that type of stuff.
Good stuff, Coach. Brian's asking, how often do you run your crew for speed and route running?
Say it one more time.
How often do you run your crew for speed and route running? So I guess your tight end guys.
Like in how often? Well, now we do so we'll do several team sections throughout practice, and they're all different situations. And so they get a ton of that. Like we'll get like that when I was showing just the work with the quarterbacks, we're going to try to get that every day, but that's only a 5-minute period. I might be able to get 6 minutes out of that if there's something we really need to work on. We do some perimeter stuff. At times we do some perimeter work with the defense, and they'll get some routes there. If we feel like we're not getting enough, then we'll stay at the end of practice and get more. But we typically, when you put all that together with the Indy and the several situations we work, and then the perimeter, we'll get plenty. If they're not involved in special teams, which a lot of times they are, but if I can steal a rep here and there, I'll send them down with the quarterbacks, and they can get a little extra there with the Qs if they're not involved in those teams periods.
Good stuff. Hey, coaches, before we get to this next question, if I just threw up a poll on Zoom. If you guys feel free, or if you're able to, go ahead and just fill that poll out. It helps us in the future. But we do have one more question, Coach.
Yeah.
Let's see here. He's asking just kind of, can you help me by setting the mindset of the tight ends? Kind of a little vague, but is there a specific mindset that you're kind of instilling in your guys, or something that you
go back to this? Can I move this over?
Yep.
Is it right there? Is that good?
What? Okay, yeah.
Does that work?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Well, this is kind of like when I started the presentation. This is this is actually where I start. Walking in day one, spring and fall is just this is the mentality you got to have. And it talks about commitment and dedication and being an everyday player. One thing I say to my guys all the time is, if you want to be taken seriously, it doesn't matter what you're doing, football, academics, your job, your girlfriend, all facets of your life. If it's something important to you and you want to be taken seriously, then be consistent. Be consistent day in and day out. And so, that's the mentality that we're looking for, is just we want to gain on it, every day. And, we don't know how much we're going to gain on it, but we don't want to lose any ground. And, so this is, kind of where we start. Everyday player, study the game, possess knowledge, attitude become a skill, attitude and effort. We show examples of that. That's one thing. The film study is, I think one thing, you just got to think about where they're coming from and what their life looks like day to day and what they're doing. And we're consumed by this. I mean, we love this stuff. We're doing it 24/7. And, a lot of these guys you're depending on, they enjoy the game. They have fun doing it, but they ain't spend a lot of time away, with it when they're away. And so, I always try to be really conscious of what I put in front of them, make sure it's got a lot of value. And saying you get what you emphasize. So if we want them to finish, we show them a lot of examples of finishing. When we first got to Louisville, we showed them a whole bunch of Appalachian State film. And, we were in a meeting one day last spring, and one of my guys said, man, Coach, I'm getting tired of seeing, all this Appalachian State film. So, well, when you start finishing, like these guys would finish, then you can see a lot less of it, and see, a lot of examples of you doing it. And, I think that you got to just have that standard every day. And then, eventually they start figuring it out. And, I can't say enough about our players at Louisville. I think that, they're just, it's important to them. They just have worked so hard. And, and I think that, I think Coach Satterfield kind of breeds that in them and gets to a point where he really motivates them to challenge themselves every day. And, so that's a long, long answer for that question. But, there's a lot of things that go into the mentality.
Awesome, Coach. And all righty, let's get to this last question. Coaches, if you guys have any lingering questions after this, hopefully you got Coach's email there, and just feel free to shoot him that. But last one for the day, what is the best way to break the false step from the Y tight end?
Shoot, man. I don't know. Send it to me if you figure it out. I think it starts with their stance and where their weight is in their stance. And I think that I've always thought the issue is